Shalom Aleichem again, and Bruchim Aboim, back to our few minutes of Chizuk from the weekly Parsha. We're holding over here at Parshas Shmini. So we know many of the Psukim in Parshas Shmini discuss the different kashrus levels that a person has to pay attention to certain animals, which things are permitted to eat, what is not permitted to eat. And we know that the whole idea of kashrus, keeping kosher and eating kosher food, is something which has a tremendous influence on a person spiritually, physically. It's something which we know that is very important, and throughout all the generations, Klal Yisrael were always trying to better themselves in keeping kosher as best as they can. I want to share an unbelievable thing, something which is a tremendous lesson for us. We know that when we talk about keeping kosher, especially I can say for myself, growing up in America, I've heard many times from many people much older than me how much Mesiras Nefesh, how much they had to go and be Mesiras Nefesh to always drive many hours to get kosher food, all in order to be able to keep the soul pure. Because we know that unfortunately a person who puts into his mouth something which is forbidden to eat, it can have such an influence on his guf, on his soul, also his soul physically and also spiritually. It can have a tremendous influence. We know that there's something called Timtum Alev, that a person, his heart can get stuffed up spiritually from eating the non-kosher food. And that's why I can remember years back, hearing from many people who have made long travels all over across America in order to find kosher food. And that's a tremendous lesson for us to realize how much we have to be Mesiras Nefesh when it comes to keeping kosher, what we eat, what we put in our mouth. We have to think twice before we do always something in regards to the level of kashrus. So I wanted to share with you an unbelievable story. I came across a story about someone in the end of World War II. In the end of World War II, in the Nazi death camps, we know that people were slowly seeing that it was coming to an end, and the Nazis themselves knew that it was all over. They already smelled the people coming in. All the tanks were approaching them slowly but surely to go and save everybody. And there was one Nazi over there that came across a certain elderly Yid who was there, who survived. He survived through all the camps for 5 years with tremendous Shiurim. He was an important person. His name was Shraga Moskowitz, Zecher Tzaddik Kodesh L'Bracha. And he used to be a Rosh Hashiva in Hungary. He taught many people and he influenced people throughout the whole time while they were in the camps. So this Nazi told him, we're coming to an end over here and I want to give you one last offer. He made him go on his knees and he took out a fork and put it in non-kosher meat. And he told him, listen, you have an option, or you eat the non-kosher food, or I kill you. And he told him that I haven't gone over any boundaries of Judaism this whole time while being here for 5 years. I always kept all the mitzvahs, I always kept kosher, I always was makbid on everything I could do. I'm not going to give in to you now. And the Nazi soldier realized that he wasn't going to win over here. This person's fear of Hashem was way too strong and he wasn't going to win. So he told him, I'm sorry, and he shot him right there. He killed him, Al Kiddush Hashem, right there on the spot. The story's not over. 60 years later, here in Eretz Yisrael, in the city of Tel Aviv, was an elderly person sitting and working in his office. And he's got a phone call from his wife. He told him, listen, can you go and get us food for supper? I didn't make anything. He said, no problem. Around the corner from my office is a restaurant. I'm going to go buy food. He went to the restaurant in the downtown Tel Aviv, and he was waiting in line, and out of the blue, all of a sudden, came into his head a story which he used to always hear from his parents. His parents told him the story what happened to their parent, who was of Shraga Moskowitz, his grandfather, how he was killed the last second Al Kiddush Hashem because he wanted to keep kosher. So right away it came into his head and he looked at himself and he said, look where I'm standing, I'm standing in a non-kosher place here in downtown Tel Aviv, trying to buy non-kosher food when my grandfather gave up his life so that I could be alive today and eat kosher food. How can I do this? And right away he ran out of the store and he had a tremendous asoirus. What do we see from this unbelievable story? Is that we know that there are many people today who are children and grandchildren from survivors, people who gave up their lives throughout all the generations, especially in World War II. Why did they give up their life? Their life is to be able to remind us also that we have to realize what they did is not in order for us that we should go and do things that they give up their life for. If they give up their life so that we should go and serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu with all our might, with all our Mesiras Nefesh, we have to remember their Mesiras Nefesh. Let's try our hardest to be able to Mekadosh Shem Shemayim, to be able to give a Kedusha to ourselves through what we eat, through what we speak, through what we look at, through what we do, something which will go and remind us how much our grandparents gave up their lives in order so that their offspring will be able to go and shine as tzaddikim and as wonderful yidden throughout the whole world. Thank you all for listening. Have a wonderful Shabbos.